Hi and welcome back to the channel. In the last video I drafted a pattern from that sketch, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to join these pieces together to make it a reality. These are my 5 pieces for this corset top. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Have it in mind, I'm going to have half an inch allowance all around it. I fold my fabric into 2. Have it in mind that we're folding it into 2 because of the fact that we are trying to cut out 2 of each of these pieces. We're still going to cut out 2 of each of these pieces on the lining as well. When working with patterns, try to make sure you're working with the direction of the pattern. In this case, the horses are facing up, so this is going to be the top part of my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and pin them and cut them out allowance and come back to you guys. Okay, so after cutting, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the exact same thing on the lining and put interfacing or gum stay, whatever you call it. I'm going to put it on it. I've gone ahead to cut out the lining, I've cut out the gum stay, and I've put the gum stay on the front piece. I didn't have enough gum stay. I just realized that I didn't have enough gum stay, so I only put it on the front piece and not on the front piece and the lining. If I had my way, I'll put it on both the front piece and lining, but this still works out because I really can't go to the store right now because I just came back from the store. But yeah, this is what I have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and join the lining to the lining and then join the fabric to the fabric. I'm going to join the front and then the back. So these 3 pieces belong to the back and these ones to the front. So now the next thing I did was I ironed this out, so that's why it's looking, good like this. Ironing really brings out the cloth. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this. So I'm going to fold it like so. So I'm making sure I'm placing my sides together so that I can trim. Of course, the lining has the exact same issues with the front part. So I'm going to go ahead and trim. So I'm going to place this like so and basically just trim. Yeah, like so. So now I have the shape I want. I'm just going to go ahead and just measure just to make sure that it's not going to end up being too big, because with the corset the fear is that it's going to be too big. So her bust is 32 divided by 2, that's going to be 16. Yeah, so now it's 15 plus, remember I left like 2-inch allowance, so that's good. It's not big. We're just trying to make sure it's not big. Now her waist is 24, so that's going to be 12. Yep, perfect. Maybe the waist is slightly big, but I'm going to leave it as is. Yeah, I'm going to leave the waist as is. I'm going to go ahead and add boning. So actually, I've been thinking about how I'm going to add this boning. I'm thinking about it for like days. So I'm actually adding boning on just these 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. You're going to see how I add it. This is my boning, right? How I'm going to add it then is that I'm going to add it like this right here, but it's not going to show at the back. Okay, so after I cut, I'm going to go ahead and take like this much, almost like 1 inch, and cut it out. So that way I have little on top to fold and little on top like this. Makes sense? I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and show you how I'm going to fix this on. And then after fixing it, I'm not going to come back to the table. After fixing it, I'm going to go ahead and sew round. To fix the boning, let me start from the middle, from this middle part, because it's practice by error. I mean error by practice, I don't know, but I'm just practicing this. So how it works is, as a matter of fact, I can go ahead and take out this boning and then put it back when I'm done to make my life easier, but I'll just be sewing on these lines that I already have. So I'm going to go ahead, put my thing like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew this on like so. So when I'm done with that one, I'm going to go ahead and open this other side like so, and then just sew it. Like, this is super easy. I don't know why I've never thought about it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in and see what it looks like. This is nice. Like, it's literally boned and nobody will see the boning. Lord, I feel like I'm going to start boning all my clothing like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just to stitch the top here so it doesn't come out, and stitch the bottom here so it doesn't come out. Then I'm going to go ahead and fix these ones in this bust area like I said I would. Then I'm going to sew it round and come back to you guys. So I'm done adding the boning in. That's why it has a weird shape. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the top of this to the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my pin to match the joinings, so that way it's literally like, you know, perfect. So just using my pins to match the joinings. Okay, so now it matches. I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. So next we're going to do a top stitch on the lining. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, sew this thing all round. So I'm done sewing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open like a slit right here to use that to turn this. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and make notches in like the parts that I want that have curves, like this ones. This one right here. Let me use the middle one. So I'm just going to loosen it right here. Okay, so now that I've opened it, I'm just going to use this to turn it like so. So the corset part is usually like kind of stiff to turn in, but it's still going to turn. Leave my whole thing's turned. It's looking weird. I'm just going to go ahead and iron this. Now I have pressed it, and it's actually looking like something, you know, like a dress. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to put this breast pad in it. I got this off of Amazon. It came like in a bunch of lots. It's actually supposed to be for like all these bikini type things, but I don't know, it's just hard to find the right breast pad, so I just end up buying it, and it still works. What I'm doing is I'm putting it and then making sure that pointy part is in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and use a hand stitch to just stitch this down. Put it in from here. Let's see if we can bring it out somewhere here. Okay, yeah. So you see how I brought it out, like, you know, right in the middle of the line, like here. So take it in like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and do one more, so that way that one holds it in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. So that's that. Next thing I'm going to do now, so you can see it's actually standing on its own now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the sleeves. We don't need any of this for the sleeve. So first I'm going to take my main fabric. I'm going to see how much I have and how much I can play with, because I want the sleeves to be full, and if I don't have that much to play with, then it's kind of pointless. You can see that I have something to play with. It's not even that much still, but share something. Okay guys, so I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So all the cool stuff I said, nobody even... Okay, so basically what I did, I'll just place it back. I'm trying to retrace myself. What I did was I let me see, I have to measure what I cut out, because I basically just draped it and worked with the how wide the fabric was, because I really didn't have a specific measurement for the width. I was working with whatever fabric I had left. So for the width, I measured what 16 times 2, 32 is going to be the width. So I cut out 32 by 50 inches and then divided it by 2. So when I fold each of the piece into 2, I have 2 pieces right here, right? So that's going to be, when folded, that's going to be 16 by 25. So my round arm is going to be 16, and then the length of the sleeve is going to be 25 for each sleeve. So what I was just about to go do when I realized that I have not been recording was to take out this thing. I just use a hot iron, place hot iron on it and take it off so I can come finish the sleeve. So I'm back. I removed the thing. So next thing we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, go to my machine, and then I'm going to sew here like so. So I'm not going to get the machine with me, but I'm going to bend this just like I could bend like the edge of like skirts or anything. Bend it twice. Make sure there is up to 3/4 of an inch allowance here, because I'm going to pass an elastic through here. I'm going to do this on the top and on the bottom, and then I'm going to come back to you guys on both of them. So I've sewn the top and the bottom. The way I'm going to distinguish them is that the top is a little bit bigger, so that way I have enough space for my elastic to go through. Yeah, and the lower part is a little bit smaller, as you can see the difference here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and from the top I'm going to measure, how many do I want to measure by? Okay, I'm going to take this thing like this and divide it into 3. So I have 24 divided by 3. I know this math. I think it's 7. Oh my, 7. Okay, let me see. 24 divided by 3 is 7. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So what we are going to do now is we are going to do 8 inches like this. So every 8 inches we are going to mark. Now this is 8 inches. On that 8-inch mark, I'm going to be drawing a straight line, or what resembles a straight line. So I'm going to hold this down and draw a straight line. Make sure you're doing this line on the back, because we don't want it to end in Hadino. Okay, so like this. So from here again, we're going to measure on that 8 inches. It's like I'm going to change this thing. So I'm going to take this 1 inch higher, or whatever amount this is. I'm going to take it higher by this 2 inches, because I want to add that 2 inches to make sense. Just see. I know what I want in my head, but sometimes explaining what I want in my head is kind of hard. So I'm going to go ahead and use that, and then from there I'm going to measure my 8 inches. So from there measure 8 inches, which ends up here on the tail of the horses. So this line is wrong, so I'm just going to mark it like this. So the first one was 6 inches, the second one 8 inches, and the third one is going to be 6 inches as well. So 6 inches on the top, 8 inches in the middle, and 6 inches on the bottom. Don't worry, to make sense, because I'm actually doing it like this because I want the down part to be flared. So go ahead and do this line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and repeat this on the other one. So now I'm going to, the round arm is 10 inches. Which is what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out 12 inches from this instead. So 1 inch allowance on both sides for sewing. Yes, baby. So I'm going to need 3 of this. Actually, I'm going to need 6 for both hands. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this on the line and show you how I do that. So what's going to happen is I'm going to stretch, take one of my things, and literally start by making a stitch first. Okay, so I'm just securing my stitch to make sure. Yeah. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull to the limit. So we're pulling to the limit, like to the extent of the stretch, and then you start to sew and pull from the back. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's one done, and this is what it's looking like, and this is the bottom part. So I'm going to do the next one. Okay, so when I was passing the elastic through, no, not passing the elastic, when I was creating this, the elastic didn't get to the end, it stopped here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this off as a straight line. So go ahead, place them together, and then just trim off that extra. So if it was like maybe a bigger person, the amount of fabric I cut would have been enough, but since she's very skinny and I'm trying to work with her arm with the elastic, it ended up being too big. Yeah, so now I have this left. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the rope through this using this tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through like so. Put it all the way. It's just like, it's basically a crochet. If not to make crochet here, this is super easy to do. So I'm going to now hook this on like so. Make sure you hook it very well so it doesn't loose in the middle. So hook this on like a crochet, and then you pull. So I'm not going to pull all the way just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my, I'm just going to pull small like this, go to my sewing machine, then I'm going to stitch here and then pull it all the way. When it comes out here, I'm going to stitch here to seal it. So I'm done with the top part, and this is what it ended up looking like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in two like so, and then I'm going to sew a straight line down. I'm going to sew a straight line down. I'm going to measure 1 inch. Remember the allowance we left was 1 inch, right? So I'm going to take in 1 inch like this and start sewing from that 1 inch point all the way down on both of them. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this tutorial. So this is what I just sewed, like a straight line like I said. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it in like so. I'm going to cut all these 3 threads later on. So what I'm going to do now is bring my top right here, and then I'm going to place this, like the stitched part, right at the armhole part right here. So right at that side joining, place it like so. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a stitch on this side, do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm also going to use this eyelet plier to use this rivet to make eyelets here, so I can pass the rope that I'm going to use to tie it behind. And that's the end of this project. I love every single thing about this corset, and it's actually going to be part of my collection. I'm going to call it the Ochiko corset because I'm making for my sister named Ochiko. Well, yeah, that's basically the end of this.
She's special and she reckless. Remember, you're my bestest friend. Yeah, she my bestie. My love for you is endless. Nobody else can end it. And when I get the money back, then baby girl, you can spend it. And everything is alright. I like how you doing alright, alright. Like how you think alright.